Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 2020 reading survey and all of my stats for the year. If you like pie charts, you're in the right video. I've been seeing a ton of other creators go around and do this survey, and I know it's like a yearly thing. I'll put the creator down below in the description if you want to go check her out. So I thought it would just be fun to pair these two things together so we can go over my stats here at the beginning and then also answer some of the survey questions. I say some of because some I didn't have an interesting answer for, so I just pulled them out. So we're only going to answer the questions that I have like a good answer for. So yeah, I have a lot of stats to show you, which I don't know why I think that's so interesting. I really like looking at the numbers, but I would love to hear some of your stats down below. How many books did you read this year? If you calculated any stats like the ones I show you, I'd love to hear about them. And also a quick plug that I have to say here at the beginning. If you don't know me, hi, my name's Katie. I'm an indie author and a freelance editor. I have 3 books out currently, but what I wanted to talk to you about is my 4th book is coming out in March 30th. It's currently up for pre-order. It's called The Anti-Relationship Year. It's a new adult romance that has friends to lovers, some rock stars, a little bit of fake dating, and some steamy scenes. And I think it's a really fun book, and I'm only like, I think 8 pre-orders away from my pre-order goal. So just if you were already gonna get the book, if you're interested in it and you wanted to do a pre-order, I would really appreciate it. You can get the ebook pretty much anywhere: Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Apple. I'll have all the links down below. And then you can pre-order a physical copy from Barnes & Noble. There will be physical copies available through Amazon as well, but not until after the release. So anyway, before we get into the stats and stuff for the video though, let me tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, Book of the Month. And as you'll see as we get into these stats, a lot of the books that I read this year came from Book of the Month. I find so many amazing books through them. If you're unfamiliar with them, they're a monthly subscription service, but instead of it being random and you not being sure if you're gonna like the book that the company picks, you actually go onto their website each month and you can choose from 5 different options. They always have a nice variety of genres, so there really is something for everybody. It's super affordable too. It's $15 a month, free shipping, brand new hardcover. Sometimes they have early releases. I'll have a link down below in my description if you want to check them out. If you use the code NEWBOOKS, you'll get your first box for $10 and free shipping. And I love how risk-free they are. If none of the books really appeal to you one month, you can just skip it and it doesn't charge you. And Book of the Month actually sent me all of their January picks so I can show you what they have to offer this month. So first we have The Dating Plan. This is an early release and a romance novel. Can 2 people become fake engaged, finally please their families, and feel fulfilled without falling in love? Then we have The Prophets, which is literary fiction. An endangered love between 2 enslaved men is the heart of this expansive, devastating, and lyrical debut. Then we have Outlawed, which is historical fiction. This feminist spin on a Western stars a gang of lovable outcasts who rob and plot in search of a better life. Then we have The Removed, which is also an early release, and this is contemporary fiction. Lyrical, otherworldly, a genre-bending look at the tragedies and legacies that impact one Cherokee family. And then finally, we have a mystery novel, The Survivors. This is also an early release. Home sweet home? Well, not exactly. This eerie seaside town is burdened by secrets, stormed, and an unsolved murder. So yeah, I'll have all of the info down below in my description if you want to try out Book of the Month and get your first box for $10. I can't recommend them highly enough. I have found so many of my favorite books through them. But without further ado, let's get into my stats for the year. First things first, this was my first year going full-time as a freelance editor, so I found that my reading habits changed more this year than any other year in the past because I was reading so much for work. So the breakdown for my year, I ended up reading 44 published books and 38 client works. And I only decided to use in this count like full-length client novels. I do a lot of short form stuff too, but this is just like novel length stuff from clients. And then within the published category, because that's what we're going to be focusing on, you'll see my audiobook consumption went up a lot this year because I was reading physically so much for work. So 26 audiobooks this year, 7 print books, and 10 ebooks was the breakdown. Then I also broke it down by category and genre. So for categories, we had 26 that were adult titles, 3 nonfiction, and 15 young adult. This year, I'm hoping to read more nonfiction and probably less YA, because YA just doesn't really do it for me as much anymore. And then within genres, I had 2 that I just categorized as general fiction because I wasn't really sure what genre to put it in. But if you went in a bookstore, you'd probably find this in like the general fiction section. 3 nonfiction, 6 young adult contemporaries, 7 contemporary romances, 12 paranormal romances, 7 thrillers, and then 7 sci-fi or fantasy books. My shortest book was 24 pages. It was just like a chapter thing. And then my longest book was 634 pages. My average length was 334. Most popular book I read this year was The Guest List. Least popular, Sacrifice in the Smoke. So all in all, in 2020, I ended up reading 82 books. I can't remember exactly how many books I read last year, but I'm pretty sure that's more. And I'm perfectly happy with that, considering I also wrote, edited, worked on 6 novels of my own. Honestly, I had been feeling pretty bad about this year and not reading that much because of work and stuff, but looking back on it, even with all of the books I had to do for work, all of the books I was working on for myself, and all of the reading I did, I actually think I had a better balance than I realized. So now on to the reading survey. So this was broken into 3 different parts. One part was all about books that you read this year. The second part was like your platform, like if you're a blogger, your blog, or a booktuber, your YouTube channel for this year. And then the last one was like looking ahead to next year. I cut the last section altogether because I have no idea what books are coming out this year. I haven't been paying attention. I didn't have answers to anything. And then I cut some within the first 2 categories. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. I'm gonna kind of rapid fire this so this video doesn't end up being super long. However, I did like 3 end of the year wrap up videos lately that has more information on all of these books. If you're interested, I have tier ranking every book that I read this year, and then best books of the year and worst books of the year. So let's rapid fire these questions. 1, best book you read in 2020. I'm gonna give this to City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. Absolutely loved this book. Number 2, book you were excited about and thought you were going to love more but didn't. For me, The Shadows by Alex North. I was pretty disappointed with this one, especially because it seemed like it was going to be like right up my alley. Most surprising in a good or bad way book that you read. Probably Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This was my final read of the year and it ended up being one of my favorite books of the year. I wasn't expecting to love this as much as I did. Number 4 is a book that you pushed the most people to read and they did. I guess you guys tell me. I'd be curious what you think the answer to this is. I think probably Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert because I read it every year, so I tell people to read it every year. Charlie Travesty series, I feel like I've talked about a lot the second half of the year. I've really enjoyed that. And then also probably Tell Me Lies from the beginning of the year. I got a lot of people to read that at the beginning of this year. Number 5, the best series you started in 2020, best sequel, and best series ender of 2020. So I think the best series, or just my favorite series that I started, was the Argento Vampire series, the first one being A Quick Bite. That's just like the most memorable series that I've read this year, of like a series that I really got into, and I really enjoyed that. But then as far as best sequel or best series ender of 2020, I don't have an answer to any of it because I hated like every sequel that I read this year. And I also just didn't read that many series. Number 6 is a new author you discovered in 2020. Penelope Douglas, Birthday Girl. Really loved it. Gonna read more of her books now. Sounded Like a Broken Record. Best book from a genre you don't typically read, was out of your comfort zone. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is like a taboo romance, which I was kind of afraid of before reading, and now I'm like, okay, I need more of this in my life. Number 8, the most action-packed / thrilling / unputdownable book of the year. I tried to choose just from the thrillers that I'd read because I felt like that was the most fitting. So I'm gonna go with Home Before Dark by Riley Sager as the most like unputdownable book. I read that really fast. Favorite cover of a book you read in 2020? The Charlie Travesty covers. I think they're so cool. I really like those. There's 5 different covers because there's 4 parts in the serial and the bind up, but all 5 covers I really like. Most memorable character of 2020, definitely the main character of City of Girls. Her name's Vivian. Love her. Number 12 is the most beautifully written book in 2020, probably The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I really love V.E. Schwab's writing style, and this book in particular, very pretty. I just kicked you. I'm so sorry. Number 13 was the most thought-provoking or life-changing book of 2020. I don't know if I had like a life-changing book this year, but Romancing the Beat. This is nonfiction about writing romance arcs. I've just found that to be really helpful and practical for my life as I'm writing a romance book. So I found that one to be very helpful. Probably something I will be revisiting quite often. A book you can't believe you waited until 2020 to finally read. Honestly, I couldn't think of anything. I read mostly new releases this year, but I'm gonna go with A Quick Bite. Even though I didn't know about it before this year, I feel like that was published like a really long time ago. So it took me a long time to get to this one. A book that shocked you the most because of a plot twist, character death, left you hanging with your mouth wide open, etc. I'm gonna go with Tell Me Lies. It's just shocked me how much I related to it, how much it like affected me emotionally, and just how much I enjoyed it. I picked it up on a whim from the library and then loved it. OTP of the year, you will go down with this ship. I was really sad that I didn't have an answer to this question. I was looking back at all of the romances I read and there's not one that like really sticks with me, and I don't know if that's because none of them were that good or if just now that I'm getting older I'm like less inclined to that kind of thing. Is it cheating if I say my own? Because I'm like obsessed with the relationship and the characters in my newest book. Like, I think they're so cute. That is my OTP. That's such a cheating answer, but I'm not even kidding. Favorite book you read in 2020 from an author you've read previously? Probably Home Before Dark. I love Riley Sager. His newest book coming out this year is like my most anticipated book of the year. Best book you read in 2020 that you read based solely on a recommendation from somebody else, peer pressure, bookstagram, etc. Probably The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. If my book club hadn't voted on this book, and if I hadn't seen it all over BookTube, I probably wouldn't have picked it up, or probably not for like years. Not that I wasn't like interested in it, I just like didn't feel any sense of urgency to read it. Shout out to the book club. because I ended up loving it. Best world building or most vivid setting you read this year? My answer is kind of odd because it's set in like present day. It's not like a fantasy book. I'm gonna go with The Night Swim. I don't know why, I just found that setting to be so like vivid and visual. It's set in this small town right on the coast, and I don't know why, I just had like such a vivid picture in my head the entire time I was reading this book. If you can hear noises in the background, I'm sorry, my cat is going nuts on our cat tree. A book that put a smile on your face or was the most fun to read? Single White Vampire by Lindsay Sands. This is the third book in the series. This was my favorite. I was laughing out loud this entire book. It was so funny. I loved it. Another question was a book that made you cry. I didn't realize until I was looking through all the books, I didn't cry over a single book this year. Kind of disappointed by that. Book that crushed your soul. From Blood and Ash. Most unique book you read in 2020? Probably A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'd really recommend the audiobook. I thought the production of that itself was really unique. And then the last question for this category, book that made you the most mad, doesn't necessarily mean you didn't like it. From Blood and Ash. Now moving on to questions like about my channel and stuff. New favorite book blog slash bookstagram slash YouTube channel that you discovered in 2020. She just changed her channel name. I think it's now More to Mary. I talked about her in a vlog. I've been loving her videos lately. If you like romance and indie and stuff, I think you'll really like her channel. I just love her personality. Like, I want to be best friends with her. I just love the vibes that she gives off. The question is favorite post that you wrote in 2020, so I'm gonna go with just like favorite video that I posted in 2020. And this one is probably my writing 10,000 words in a day vlog. I don't know why, I had so much fun making that video. I think it turned out really well. I finished writing the anti-relationship year in that vlog. That was when I hit the end of the book, and I was crying when I finished the book. So it was just like a memorable day. It was a good day. And I really liked how the video turned out. Favorite bookish related photo you took in 2020? I'll put it on the screen. I'm thinking probably the one I took with Beach Read, because I think my hair looks cool on this picture. I don't know, I like this one. If you're not already following me on Instagram, I'll have it linked down below. I'm at Katesbookdate. I just started making reels for the first time, so come join me over there. Best bookish event that you participated in? I got to attend like a virtual Zoom style author visit with Elizabeth Gilbert for her book City of Girls, which ended up being my favorite book of the year. So that was really cool. I just love Elizabeth Gilbert. Hearing her talk and stuff, it was such a cool experience. Best moment of bookish or blogging life in 2020? Probably publishing my first novel, The Anti-Virginity Pact, came out in June. Obviously a big lifetime goal and very exciting. Most challenging thing about blogging or your reading life this year? For me, that was definitely finding balance with my new schedule and my new job, balancing editing, reading, my own writing. That was the biggest challenge this year. Most popular video this year on your channel? Probably the one at the beginning of quarantine when I was like clearing out my shelves and I was unhauling an insane amount of books. That one probably. And then a video you wished got a little more love. Probably the vlog that I did for the Anti-Virginity Pact, like self-publishing from beginning to end, because I worked on that vlog for like 6 months. And I liked the way it turned out. I thought it was interesting if you're at all interested in the behind the scenes of self-publishing. So those are my stats for 2020. I'd love to hear about some of yours down below, or feel free to answer like any of the questions in the survey if any of them really piqued your interest. If you're also a booktuber, bookstagrammer, book blogger, anything like that, I know it'll probably initially flag your comment as spam, but if you want to leave your links down below, I'll go through an approval of the comments so they're not lost in spam. So I can find new people to follow in the new year. Everyone else going through the comments can find some new people to follow. So feel free to shout yourself out or just shout out someone that you follow that you really like. And then if you are like a content creator, let me know what's like a post or a video or something that you wish had gotten some more love so I can go check it out and give you a like or a comment or something. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. Thanks so much for being here and watching till the end of the video. I'll have all my links down below in the description if you want to grab one of my books. I'd appreciate it so much if you would pre-order The Anti-Relationship Year. Maybe give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe and stick around if you're new. And I'll just see you guys in another video very, very soon. Bye.
So hit me. So hit me. So hit me. First a confession. With you, I feel a connection. With